Hello everyone and welcome to another video review by Centipede Geek. In this video I'll be talking about the Shudder original show by the name of Creepshow Season 3 Episode 1. The stories were titled Mums and Queen Bee. And if you don't know what Creepshow is, Creepshow was an early 80s movie franchise. There were two films, Creepshow 1 and Creepshow 2. And I believe they took about 5 or 6 stories and they were all anthology different stories that were not connected in any way. I believe one of them was about like an old Indian statue back in the day, and I believe Stephen King was in a different one, and they sort of compiled a sort of a hand-drawn animation to them. There's some really neat films if you haven't seen them. I believe both are available on Shudder, maybe along with other streaming apps, so make sure to check those out if you're not familiar with those Creepshow films. They originally come from a comic book series back in the day that several authors sort of accompanied on. Stephen King, obviously, famously, notoriously being one of them. Creepshow does that same thing. Each episode is an anthology. Each episode is about 45 to 50 minutes, and then there's 2 episodes in each episode. So with Season 3, we have Mums. The story was by Joe Hill, and the teleplay was by Gregory Nicotero, and then the second part was called Queen Bee. So let's talk about Mums. This one was about a little kid, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it was about these mums that him and his mom planted, and major spoilers coming up. His mom ends up dying, and there's these mums that are planted around him. He has an abusive father. Long story short, these flowers sort of come to life in almost a Venus flytrap-like scenario, and then the beaten father alive. That's pretty much the gist of this episode. This episode I thought was pretty good. I will say, if you're not big on sort of the campy, over-the-topness that Creepshow likes to do, especially with the, the older, series had more of a, I guess you could say, classic feel to it, while this one's more over-the-top, a lot more campier, almost hinges on the a lot of the comedy and humor of horror. But if you like that sort of thing, then I really think Creepshow will be for you. Mums was a pretty decent one, I thought. I saw a lot of mixed reviews online where they thought the ending was kind of a hit and miss. And I didn't think it was too bad. I liked it for what it was. I didn't think it was an amazing episode, but I liked there at the end. It was very interesting how all of a sudden, the flower came up, and some really kind of interesting and neat-looking practical effects there at the end. So I thought overall, episode 1, if I had to give it a 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 8. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. A fun. These anthologies, for me at least, are always kind of fun because you don't have to be familiar with the show. You can jump in anywhere in the show and really, not have to know what's going on in previous episodes. So just a nice, fun, short little watch. Now, Queen Bee, I really liked that one. I thought that one was really neat. Queen Bee, to me, was more of a sort of, I guess you could say, at least it started off as more of a modernized young adult horror comedy deal, as these young kids go off into this hospital and they want to see this famous celebrity or the famous actress give birth. So they watch her through the window, and long story short, spoilers ahead, they're introduced to these nurses who have these green glowing eyes, and I really liked the green glowing eyes. It was a very sort of eerie, I guess a good word would be a very ominous presence that you didn't know what to expect with these green glowing eyes. And later on, you see that she has this, baby or whatever, and this queen bee almost hatches from her head, and it's like she turns into this queen bee. So it was a really neat episode, I thought. Like I said, I really liked the green eyes a lot. That was almost, to me, it reminded me of almost like an alienistic, extraterrestrial presence that I thought was really neat and very well done, I thought. And I really liked the practical effects of the queen bee there at the end, of the, whatever you want to call them, the deals ripping out of her eyes, the legs, and it was just a really neat, the practical effects are very well done, I thought. And it was a very, like I said, if you're into the over-the-top kind of thing with lots of great practical effects, I definitely think this episode is for you. If you have to compare between Mums and Queen Bee to me is definitely the better episode of the two. It's a very neat, like I said, very neat episode that has some neat features into it, and I could really think could expand it to a full-on movie if they wanted to. I believe that pretty much caps out my review. I believe there's going to be about 6 episodes in the. Each season has only had about 6 episodes, or season 1 had 6, season 2 had 5, and then season 3 is going to have 6. So there's like I said, there's about 2 segments in each episode. So if it has 6 episodes, you can expect about 12 segments, and so it is only going to be on for about 6 weeks. So as soon as it comes on, the show is going to end, in the next 2 months, which is crazy to think about, or maybe less than 2 months when you think about it. Overall, pretty solid 2 episodes. I'm curious to see what other shorts we're going to have, and as a gore hound that I always am, I enjoy seeing how bloody they might get. So once again, thanks for watching my Shudder original TV show by the name of Creepshow Season 3 for the first episode. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below.